Okay, more now on the revelations from that former Facebook employee. Her name is Frances Haugen, and she is accusing Facebook of hiding internal research that proves its platforms are used to spread hate, violence, and misinformation.
Now, Haugen has also filed at least 8 complaints with the Federal Securities Exchange Commission, and now she's revealing tens of thousands of documents that she says shows Facebook intentionally tweaked its algorithm to allow this toxic content to spread in order to make more money.
There were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook. And Facebook over and over again chose to optimize for its own interests, like making more money. The version of Facebook that exists today is tearing our societies apart and causing ethnic violence around the world.
With us now, CNN legal and national security analyst Asha Rangappa. She's a former FBI special agent. And Mara Schiavocampo is the host of the Run Tell This podcast. Good to have both of you with us. And Asha, let me start with you because you have made the comparison, and we've heard it over the last couple of days, if not years actually. Big tech is the new big tobacco, but in your latest write, you go through 4, 5, 6 points of how they compare. Just explain a few of them for those who have not read your latest piece.
Yes, Victor. I think there are several parallels between Facebook and big tobacco. For one thing, they create a highly addictive product. They actually designed their platform so that it gives you a dopamine hit, the same way you get from, doing cocaine or gambling, to keep you on it. They try to recruit more users, and especially targeting children to get hooked on the platform. And they deliberately lie to the public about what they know about the harms that their product causes. And so, we don't really think of it in the same way. I'll also add that there are a lot of secondary effects of what they cause, in addition to harm to the user themselves, like, for example, for teenage girls. We've seen research about that. We've seen with COVID-19 misinformation, it spills over into the public as well. So I think that there are a lot of parallels here, and it could open the possibility for creative ways of looking at holding Facebook accountable the way that we did with big tobacco.
Yeah, I think that everything Asha said is so important, Mara. It's hazardous to our health. It's hazardous to our democracy's health. But I do just want to play that portion from last night where they talked about teenage girls, because they have the actual data that they haven't released, but they knew internally about how much it's hurting them. So listen to this.
One study says 13.5% of teen girls say Instagram makes thoughts of suicide worse. 17% of teen girls say Instagram makes eating disorders worse.
And what's super tragic is Facebook's own research says, as these young women begin to consume this eating disorder content, they get more and more depressed, and it actually makes them use the app more. And so they end up in this feedback cycle where they hate their bodies more and more. Facebook's own research says it is not just that Instagram is dangerous for teenagers, that it harms teenagers. It's that it is distinctly worse than other forms of social media.
It's hazardous.
Yeah, so we're starting to have this conversation now about how it's affecting us as individuals and how it's affecting us as societies. So what you heard right there is an example of how it's affecting individuals, especially young women at such a key developmental age, but we're also seeing how it's affecting societies. And the problem with these algorithms, and this is the algorithms on all social media platforms, is that people believe they are looking out of a window and they're seeing an accurate representation of the world. But what they're actually doing is looking in the mirror, and they're seeing a reflection. They're being shown a reflection of their own beliefs and their own thoughts, except now it's validated and it's reconfirmed. And that, I believe, is the core of all of the polarization that we're seeing. And this is a lot more significant than, say, your crazy aunt showing up at Thanksgiving with all her vaccine theories, right? There were a lot of people who would argue that these algorithms and these social media platforms have played a significant role in everything from genocide to inciting an insurrection in our country. So this is a key pivotal moment for these platforms. The issue here is enforcement. Facebook already has regulations in place about misinformation and hate speech, but are they properly enforcing it? And if not, why not? This is a $1 trillion company. Why can't they put the resources towards getting this right?
I had a congresswoman on at the top of the last hour who's been using the hashtag #InvestigateFB, investigate Facebook. But we've seen examples over years now of members of Congress who appear not to really have a full understanding, a grasp of not just Facebook, but social media companies. Let's look at two examples here over the last couple of years.
Will you commit to ending Finsta?
Senator, again, let me explain. We don't actually do Finsta. What Finsta refers to is young people setting up accounts where they want to have more privacy.
Finsta is one of your products or services. We're not talking here about Google or Apple. It's Facebook, correct?
Finsta is slang for a type of account.
Well, how do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
And these are senior members of the committee, at least Orrin Hatch was for a while, until he retired. But I wonder, does Congress have a grasp of this to even consider if there should be further regulations?
Yeah, it's a very big problem when you don't have an understanding of the technology, because then what you're doing is you're relying on the leaders of the technology to inform you of what's right and what needs to be done. So it's a little bit like putting the fox in charge of the hen house. And we've seen a lot of that. We've seen Facebook and these other companies come and say, no, we'll take care of this problem. We want to take care of it. We'll regulate it ourselves. What was so key about what we heard last night on 60 Minutes is this woman saying no. They not only know what the problem is, they are amplifying it for the purpose of profit. And a key point to note is that she said this change in the algorithm went into place in 2018. Facebook revenue has reportedly tripled since 2018. And she says that's the motive here. They're putting profits over people.
Asha, what is the answer?
Well, I think that when we talk about regulation, we always get to content, right? Like, can they take it down? Can we make them take it down? What about the First Amendment? But I think that there's a lot of other ways that Facebook could be regulated that could, incentivize them to behave in other ways. There can be disclosure requirements, for example, about their data, what they know, their algorithms, how they're prioritizing information. They can be required to create, say, pauses in the rolling feed or create civic messages that tell user, kind of interrupt the cognitive process of a user, or even create warning labels the same way that we did for tobacco. And finally, there could be creative ways to simply tax them, to tax their advertising revenue to get into the revenue model that they're using that is harmful to democracy.